Haunted hiking trails, creepy old graveyards, abandoned ghost towns, and old buildings where spirits lurk. Come and explore some of these most haunted places where people just like you and me come face to face with ghosts. This is folklorist and author Jeanette Quackenbush with Backroads Books by 21 Crows. I discover and research old ghost stories, folklore, and legends, then pass them on to you. I have found a whole bunch of these haunted locations of legends and folklore. Now let me help you find your scary place, where our natural world and their supernatural world collide. A ghost town in Wood County, West Virginia, has a tunnel that has gone through a few names and also arbors of ghosts. Its story began when the Northwestern Virginia Railroad of the B&O chartered 103 miles of railway in the mid-1800s from Grafton to Parkersburg. This branch, known as the Parkersburg Branch, had 23 tunnels. One of the tunnels was completed in the 1850s and became Tunnel 21. When the town nearby was called Beetree for the little Beetree stream running beside it, the number 21 tunnel was called Beetree Tunnel. Later, when the town was named Eaton, it became the Eaton Tunnel. And now this old tunnel is dubbed Lost Tunnel, for good reason. Work began in the 1960s to raise and widen the original tunnel. However, the construction came to a standstill after 2 men died during a massive rockfall on June 6, 1963. Arthur Boggs, 24 years old, was rescued but died a few days later in the hospital. The body of 46-year-old Harry Buck Nichols was never recovered and still remains entombed in the tunnel to this day. The tunnel was sealed off, abandoned, and mostly lost and forgotten as the forest grew up around it. A replacement was dug parallel to the old one, and trains used it for many years until this section closed. Nowadays, you can walk through this more recent North Bend Rail Trail tunnel. It is this newer tunnel next to the old one where some have run into ghosts, although others attest the older one is haunted too. With all the hype the Silver Run Tunnel gets with its white-gowned, golden-slippered phantom, it is no wonder that Eaton and Lost Tunnels get a lesser reputation for haunting. Yet they are, and there are plenty of reasons they have ghosts. From rockfalls to train wrecks and a town epidemic to being hit by a train, nearly 30 deaths have occurred nearby and within the tunnel. Not unexpectedly, people hear ghostly voices inside the newer Eaton Tunnel number 21. Some have listened to a woman's soft voice calling, "Hello." Others have heard men talking as if they are in a clustered group working through the tunnel before a gust of wind appears to make them vanish. On one visit, each time my daughter made an allergy sniff inside the damp tunnel, there was a short lull before there was a mimic teasing soft sniff in return. Like the foolhardy who jump in feet first to prove a point and typically end up falling and landing on the rear. I called out a hearty "hello" arrogantly to show her there was not anybody or anything else inside. I mean, rationally speaking, there should not have been a reply, and yet there was a clear "hello" in return. Crash, boom, boom. You might come across something darker like it did a week ago. It started off innocently. Heading along the road, I stopped for a quick morning hike along the rail trail. It was buggy, dead calm, and a scalding 96 degrees trudging along the crushed limestone path, with my hands comically whipping and slapping the air, trying to bat away the biting flies and mosquitoes. Yet it was cool and dark inside the tunnel, with a refreshing breeze running through. Nothing was amiss, so I dawdled, slowly strolling and lolling in the cool damp air, scented like mungy washcloths and old dank basements. Well, so I thought, but when I returned to the office and ran through a couple of the videos I took, there certainly was something off kilter. The board detachment, at which I had been watching, turned to my heart sinking in my chest. Upon my return hike, with my little light bobbing aimlessly around in the dark with the unsteady hand of the foolish, the giddy, and the too bold for my britches, it appeared something shady was settled flat against one wall. It was a human-like shadow figure, perhaps a boogie, as those who traveled through the tunnel 100 years ago would call it. What? If I had known then, I would have balked, pivoted quickly on my feet, and backwalked Backwalked only because when I back run, I tend to trip over my feet and fall on my butt. But I would have been out. Then I would have taken the more challenging brush-ridden path around the newer tunnel and above the caved-in Lost Tunnel, which has a whole other set of perils to avoid, like different boogies, blood-sucking ticks and chiggers, and flesh-eating briars. I had not, and so I must have passed within inches of that shadow thing. Perhaps I had puttered around for long enough that it was able to stretch out its boogie arm and graze my skin, or maybe drag me into its hidey hole. I'll stop there. It did not, but the next time it will be more challenging, as I know there is a boogie within, and it probably caught my scent. And it knows my weakness now, my whimsiness, childish sense of adventure, and the inability to run backwards at a dead run without falling on my butt.